Hey folks, welcome back to the classroom for today's edition of Notre Dame Daily. I'm Pete Mulroy, and I want to start today with a fun little anecdote about the Irish schedule, particularly as it relates to placing wagers and the betting lines. DraftKings, a couple days ago, released its early rollout that included a handful of games across the college football landscape, many involving Notre Dame that you can now place bets on. So far, from an Irish perspective, that rundown includes the season opening date at Miami on August 31st, which is just about 95 days away now. Notre Dame listed as a minus 2.5 point favorite. Then you come back up to the central of the country, home opener, Texas A&M week 2, Notre Dame minus 7. Included in that rollout, Notre Dame goes to Fayetteville September 27th for a date with Arkansas. Right now they're listed as a 12.5 point advantage. And then dual October home games against Boise State, first time ever, and longtime rival USC. Notre Dame right now 15.5 and 13.5 point favorites respectively against the Broncos and the Trojans. Obviously that could change as the days and weeks become closer to those games being played. But right now, in those contests, DraftKings is all over Notre Dame from a favorite perspective. And while it's fun, what does it tell us, big picture? That even though the other games may not be posted yet, Notre Dame is odds on going to be a favorite in all of the games in which they played during the regular season this year. And coming off a campaign in which they went 14-12, the Irish, as far as big picture America drafting and relatability is concerned, America is all over Notre Dame, not just from a CFP contender, not just from the perspective of going 12 for 12 in an undefeated season, but from the perspective that many prognosticators and betting outlets, including specifically DraftKings here today, believe the Irish can get this done, perhaps run the table as favorites and win the whole thing. We will certainly see, but this is a fun way to start what is going to be a huge summer, specifically as it relates to the month of June for the Fighting Irish. And I have talked about this quarterback battle that's brewing between Kenny Minchey and C.J. Carr. It was the feature on yesterday's program, as it seems, if you're able to read between what Marcus Freeman said to the media last week, that Kenny Minchey may have a slight advantage, the sophomore over the freshman. And then obviously last week, that O-line group, which is being viewed by many, including yours truly, as the top unit in the country, especially when you're able to keep someone like Charles Jagasaw at the guard position, either on the right or the left side, and Anthony Knapp continuing to get better at the left tackle position. That is an absolute dog unit that Notre Dame will have up front offensively. But the tight end position is significant as well. You have the departure of Mitchell Evans to the NFL, drafted by the Carolina Panthers last month. So now Notre Dame, what do they have to do? They've got to go out and find that next person to step in and continue that tight end U namesake. Next up, Eli Raridan. And while there have been flashes, the problem that's held Eli Raridan back has been the injuries. Now, to backtrack on that a bit, last year, his junior campaign was the first time that Raridan played a full season. Even more significant to that was it was a 16-game season, and Raridan, again, I'll use that term, you saw the flashes, the ability to stretch the field, get down, find his way down a seam in open space, go up and grab balls, use physicality, create off the route, and then be a reliable red zone threat. Big shoes to fill with Mitchell Evans departing, but Marcus Freeman had a big week with the media last week, and one of the questions that came up was the continuing development and growth and consistency that you want from the tight end group. And when speaking on whether or not he believes Eli Raridan could be that next great Notre Dame tight end, he was point blank. Said, quote, hopefully. I think he's continuing to be a complete tight end. He's got to stay healthy like he did last year. That's been Eli's biggest nemesis in his first 3 years. There's always something that has kept him from practicing or playing. But Marcus Freeman did say that he believes there are flashes that show how Eli Raridan can certainly be a game changer for this Notre Dame offense. Entering this senior year, it's crucial for Raridan and Notre Dame, especially the way they want to throw this football. Raridan will start as tight end 1, but it's a group that also includes grad senior Kevin Bowman, redshirt freshman Jack Larson, and the Arkansas transfer Ty Washington, who came in via the portal during this offseason. So it's all in front for Raridan, and we will see how that develops here. Huge talking points as the summer leaks into the fall here, and we will see how that position group continues to get better as we go day to day, week to week, month to month, ultimately leading up to game 1, August 31st against Miami. But right now, TE1, Eli Raridan. You've got some major news continuing to come across the recruiting landscape as well. And I want to focus my attention for this segment before we talk about some of the upcoming visits Notre Dame has this month with the 27 quarterback group. Notre Dame has remained on the heels of 2027 QB Teddy Gerard. That's been going on for some time now. 6'3", 200-pound signal caller out of Kennesaw, Georgia, North Cobb High. Presently listed as a 4-star recruit. And while Notre Dame has Noah Grubbs as a 26 commitment, adding another quarterback in the following class in 2027 is certainly a priority for Marcus Freeman and company, and it makes sense. You want to build that position group. You can never have too many, right? You see so many teams across college and pro try to build their trenches with depth to give guys breathers as the game continues to evolve. Well, Notre Dame wants to have that depth, and they want to have, more importantly, that competition at the quarterback spot and building for the future, going to get a guy like Noah Grubbs in 26 and perhaps a Teddy Gerard in 27 is a big deal here. And if you're following many of these recruits on social media, Gerard took to his X account in recent time and posted that he's going to travel to South Bend later this week, specifically June 5th, for a visit. Now, there is always competition for these big name and high target recruits, such as the 4-star Gerard, who will also in June be visiting Clemson, Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State, LSU, and Arkansas. And this is a month that began for Gerard with a June 1 visit to Athens, where he enjoyed some time with Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs. So a lot at stake here. You have, again, and it can't be understated, you have the commit from Grubbs as your 26 QB. But if you can go and bolster that with the 27 class, with someone like Gerard who's got the arm strength and the size, that would be a huge deal for Notre Dame as recruiting remains very much top of mind for Marcus Freeman. Portal important, yes. Use it, yes. But how do you build a roster? You build a roster through recruiting. And just to wrap up today's program, and I'll continue to refresh this each and every day because with every date, seemingly, there are different players taking their official visits to South Bend. And the first week of June is underway. Alistair Vallejo kicked off the loaded month with a trip to South Bend over this past weekend, as did, aforementioned, Noah Grubbs. From the wide receiver group, which is something that's been much maligned and frustrating from a recruiting standpoint, right? I think we would all agree to some extent that that's been a weaker part of the Notre Dame building blocks here in recruiting. But you're going to have Ephraim White, a 6'1", 155 from Vero Beach in Florida, and Jaden Warren, 6'2", 195 4-star from Iowa Colony in Texas. They're on campus this past weekend, which is a big deal. Warren's a highly regarded 4-star recruit, goes up and gets the football. Just watch the tape. White is another 4-star, and he featured in high school as a two-way player. I think he projects mostly as a wide receiver in college, but when you have that dual ability, that skill set to play both sides of the football, you want to get the best athletes on the field as much as possible. I mean, we can use Travis Hunter as the unbelievable litmus test there, right? Going both ways, winning a Heisman Trophy, and we'll see what he does in the pros. But you want to have your best athletes on the field as much as possible. And if you're able to go get someone like an Ephraim White to bring him in, it would be obviously very interesting to see what the long-term picture would be. To me, it's wide receiver, but he was an elite track star with elite speed in high school. You want that speed out there any way you can get it. So that's going to be fun to watch and see if Notre Dame can land a couple of big fish in a position group that they've struggled to land these big-time players for in recent time at the wide receiver position. Dre Quinn, another edge rusher, 6'4", 228, is going to be in town this week, a 3-star recruit from Norcross, Georgia. The official visit with Notre Dame lined up for June 3rd, and then he's going to go around and take a look at some of the offers he's received from the likes of Bama, LSU, Michigan, Miami, UNC, Ohio State, just to name a few. So it's a big month. It's already underway. It kicked off at the end of May over the weekend into June 1st, and here we are now breaking it down. As I said, June, huge. It's crucial. Official visit time in South Bend, and I will keep you updated every step of the way as Notre Dame continues to add to what is already an outstanding 2026 recruiting class. I hope you have a great rest of the day. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great one. Go Irish.